We can say we struggle with lust. We can say we fall into lust, into sexual sin, and we struggle with it as much as we want. But it comes a point where when will you stop? When will you actually stop and control yourself, control your lust, take captive every thought and stop it? As Christians, we all know the verses that talk about lust. We all know them, but for some reason we just don't apply them. We don't take them seriously enough. The problem that I had and the problem with a lot of people is that they save their sin for later. We fall into sin. We fall into sexual sin, and we don't think of it as the last time. We don't think of it as we save it for later. We think in the future maybe possibly it'll happen, and it's because we always tell ourselves, I struggle with it. I struggle with it. Stop it. You will receive freedom over that sin when you take Jesus seriously, when you strengthen your relationship with him. But the first 10 months of me walking through the faith, I struggled with lust the whole entire time. And yes, a lot of it was genuine struggle, but at the same time, I wasn't trying hard enough to completely get rid of lust, to completely cleanse myself from all these fleshly desires. I knew the verse about it is better to go into heaven with one eye than to go into hell with both eyes. It is better to go into heaven with one arm than to go into hell with both arms. I knew these verses, but I just didn't take them seriously. I was like, you know what? Jesus is he's using hyperbole. He's just using a metaphor. It means we should try a little bit harder to stop. No, guys, your sin is holding you back. Your sexual sin, your lust is holding you back. And by the grace of God, I was able to break free. And I broke free from my lust by taking captive every thought. The Bible says to take captive every single thought. You truly have to desexualize your mind. You have to realize, why am I doing this? How am I okay with this? Guys, I am truly disgusted at the thought of sexual sin now, because when you think about it, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. These are private parts that we should not be seeing. Adam and Eve, when Eve ate the apple, they had a conscience. They were ashamed of their nakedness. And here we are, watching things, doing things that we shouldn't be doing, and we have no shame. There's no shame in the West, there's no shame in the US, and there's no shame in us that commit that sin. And yes, we might have some shame afterwards, but guess what? We find ourselves doing it again the next night or the other day, or we struggle with it. We can't go on our Christian walk struggling with sin our whole entire life. You really think that this sexual sin is going to be a part of you? I thought that this sexual sin would be a part of me for the rest of my life. I thought, I'm a man, this is normal. Every guy struggles with it. But no, Jesus gave me freedom from that sin. And I never thought I'd be able to say that. I no longer jump to lust in my head when I see something. I no longer want to look at things. It's truly amazing what God has done in me, and he changed my heart. And guys, this is freedom for everyone. You can have this freedom. And I know it sounds impossible. I'm a man. This is what I've been doing since I was young. This is just what I do. It's a part of me. I try so hard, but I just can't. Guys, don't save your sin for later. I used to fall into sexual sin, and I would say, I'm going to go as long as I can without it. What does that sound like? That sounds like I'm going to return to it eventually. I had to start telling myself, this is not a part of my life anymore. Christ is a part of my life. Therefore, everything I want to do is for Christ. That is not for Christ. That defiles my body. That defiles my relationship with God. So cut it out. Cut it out. Listen to his words. It is better to enter heaven with one arm than it is to enter hell with two. It is better to enter heaven with one eye than it is to enter hell with two. We should be taking that verse a lot more seriously, because it's the truth. If you're struggling with sin, you have to cut it off. Cut it off. It's making you struggle with God. Your relationship is tainted now because you have this sexual sin that you just can't let go of. Guys, we have to wake up. Realize what you're doing. Realize how abusing it is, not only to yourself, but to God's creation. The plan of action for defeating lust, for me, was relentless prayer. Take every thought captive. Every time you think anything, you take that thought captive and you go straight to prayer with it and you present it straight to the Lord. Restricting your time on the internet, restricting your time on TikTok, Instagram, all these things. That will delete the temptation away from you. When you see billboards, when you see commercials, when you see people in real life, look away. Guys, you have control over your eyes. You know that, right? You can look away anytime you want. And it's going to be a struggle because your flesh wants to cling on to whatever it sees and wants to sexualize anything it sees. But you can look away. You have the choice to look away. And with God on your side, he will definitely give you that way out. Because the Bible says there is no sin uncommon to mankind and that God will always provide a way out. Guys, there's hope. There's hope that you can defeat lust. And guys, lust is holding you back. You really think that it'll be a part of your life forever. But I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's not going to be a part of your life forever. You have to act on it. He said to cut off your arm if it is causing you to sin. Cut off lust, guys. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds hard, but it's possible. You have the creator of life. You have Jesus Christ. He died for your freedom from sin. He died so you can be free from that. You have full authority over it. You just need to take that authority with Jesus over that sin. You need to take the action. He gave you the authority over that sin. It doesn't have any power over you. You just need to act on it now. God bless you all.